What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the episode of PvP Legacy. Now, there are many components that make up video games, and a lot of them can be important, some of them less important. It really just comes down to, what you deem important. He didn't put on his sunscreen. Rookie mistake. You got to put your sunscreen on, sir. Don't you know it's summertime? You can get a really bad burn, dude. I don't think he cares. Anyway, when it comes to the components of crafting a game, to some people, some components are more important than others. But what do you think, the most important component of a game is? Is it the lines of code that make up the game itself? Is it the characters? Is it the world? I think so. I think it is the world that makes a game a good game. I mean, yeah, characters can be good, characters can be iconic, but it really, for me, it depends on the world I'm in. Because I can really feel and get into character, I can really set the stage for, what this journey I'm about to venture on can be about. If I understand the world a little better, if I get to know what world I'm in, you know? It is just me. Just me. It's probably just me. But anyway, I think the world and the world building, and how the world interacts with the character, or how the character interacts with the world, I think it plays a very important part in a game for me, alright? The world aspect of any game is what I always look to first, because the world is where we venture, where we live, where we settle. I always look to the world first. Always admire how it is built, especially how it's built, because there are different types of worlds out there. There are open worlds that are expansive, full of life and adventure. And then there's closed worlds, linear worlds that are, I don't know, linear, that take you from point A to point B, that don't really have open world aspects, but, get you through the story nonetheless. Now, I should probably say, as like a little disclaimer, I'm probably not just like repeat myself over and over again, because I really like to emphasize what I say, alright? I truly mean that the world is, or it plays a bigger aspect into what makes a game, or what makes it iconic, or what makes it, really good. Alright, it's not all about the characters or the lore, it's about the world, alright? At least this video is about the world. And when it comes to different types of worlds, there are two main worlds, the open worlds and the linear worlds. Now, I want to start with the linear worlds because, they give us a really good insight on, how a world can be built. Now, a really great example of a linear world is, like, the first thing that comes to mind is Bloodborne. I haven't played Bloodborne, but I've seen so much about it, and I've seen how detailed it is, how detailed the world is, there are just so many areas that you can go through and that all lead to the same area. It is a linear pathing that takes you from point A to point B, but there are different branching off areas that can get you from point A to point B. Even though they all lead to the same area, it feels like you're exploring a whole world. And my favorite part about, those kind of like linear worlds with, a linear story going from point A to point B is if you build it correctly, especially like how it's built in Bloodborne. Now, what Bloodborne does really special with its world is it intertwines its paths. So you could start in one area, but like you could be like in like a specific area, and then later down the game you open up a pathway, or the story takes you to a certain area that basically leads you to a subsection of the original area that you were in, to continue. So it overlaps its pathways. They intertwine, and then you can unlock shortcuts to certain areas that you weren't able to have access to before. Now you have access, or you've regained access from the pathway that you're on, from like the beginning of the game. I think when done like that, it's done so well. I think Bloodborne's world is built so perfectly. It's amazing. I love it. I love it a lot. And it's not just Bloodborne that does this. Like the Dark Souls, like DS1, DS2, and DS3 all kind of have this similar aspect where they have this linear story, linear, world, but all kind of branch together as a sort of like tree that just kind of, all entwines with each other, and you have all these different access points, kind of 3 hearts and right here, huh? Uh, good for you? What? I was baffled by a message. I didn't expect him to speak. Anyway, moving on. I love linear worlds because if done correctly, I know not every studio is like FromSoft and can, create masterpieces like they can. I opened my inventory. I am a dead man. Alright, he backed off, thank God. I know not every company is, FromSoft, but a lot of companies that make, games or like linear games or even open world games could really take a page out of FromSoft's book, because I mean they make their world so dynamic, even if it is just simple stuff like overarching pathways. Take a page out of their book, Ubisoft. Now, I'm gonna dog on Ubisoft and give them a lot of crap because, I mean, hey, it's Ubisoft. It's kind of weird if you don't give Ubisoft crap. But, like, I mean, I don't really hate their work. I just think they could do it better, For example, the Assassin's Creed franchise, their open worlds are so, like, they're dynamic, they're expansive, but they're also just so boring. Like they're just cluttered with so much garbage. They're cluttered with just all this crap. And all the side quests are like literally all the same. The collectibles are just all the same. There is no variation within the land. It's all just this AI generated likeness, and it gets repetitive and boring. And that's where games like, whatchamacallit, that's where games like God of War and like Elden Ring and Ghost of Tsushima come into play, because they're all open world games with a linear storyline. Well, except for Elden Ring. Elden Ring's a little different from the bunch. It's more of like a sandbox, but I'll get to that. But, you want to talk about open world games done correctly, look to Ghost of Tsushima or God of War Ragnarok. Because in an open world game, and you want to tell a story, you have to have the world also, play a key part into the storytelling. Not just with, the lore of your world, but with your character as well. And that's where the, a very key importance of side quests come into play. Because side quests in God of War make you feel like doing more side quests, because every time you do one, you get more information, not only on the lore of the place, but you get, cool rewards, you get cool interactions with other characters, like if it's Atreus or if you have Freya at your side. Every time I see a quest, I want to pick it up because I get the satisfaction of the world being built around me and characters developing. I get cool rewards. But the way that, the side quests feel like they're impacting the story, even though there is a start and finish, and there really isn't any options for you to choose. Like, even if you don't have a choice to choose which ending you want to go for, or like have a choice or a say, or have your actions impact the world around you. Having quality side quests that not only build the world around you, but your character, can make it seem as if your choices, actually, are doing something. Like, I don't need choices to enjoy a game. What I need is a story to be told. That's why I'm playing this semi-open world story game. That's why I would play God of War, so I can unravel, the lore, have my character, have Kratos, his character development through every side quest, because it feels like it adds to the story, as he can take these experiences and just improve upon himself as a character, thanks to the world around him. That's the world interacting with him, and him interacting with the world because of it. And the same thing can be said with Ghost of Tsushima. There are no options for you to choose to change how your story plays out. It is all predetermined. You have a start point and an end point, but every time you go throughout the world, interact with the characters, do little side quests, you feel your character growing as you just progress. As you do side quests, your character grows through the experience, interacts with the world around him, and can get stronger through those means. When it comes to a strong world and a strong, you want to build a good world, you need good side quests. All right, if you don't got a good world, you want to build a good world, good side quests. You need good side quests in your world. All right, side quests are necessary. At least I believe so, because in Ghost of Tsushima, it is an open world with a linear story. There's start A. All right, you have to go to one point to another, the start of the game to the end of the game. But you can, at any point in time, break off from the story to go develop your character as much as you want. It doesn't matter. You can do as many side quests as you want before continuing where you left off in the story. And this really only happens if you have a solid world to base all your things in, to base your character on, to base your side quests, and to have your character interact with the world around him, to then have, his character be improved, then to give you a quality story. In Ghost of Tsushima, the only time you make a decision... Oh, wait, did he die or did he leave? I thought he... Oh, yeah, I think he gave up. I thought he left. Alright, my bad. The only time that you make a decision that actually dictates how your game is going to end is at the end of the game, where you basically have a choice to spare or kill your uncle. It's literally the only decision in the game. Everything else has been chosen for you. Everything else has been decided. You will go from the start of the game to the end of the game with the ability to break off at any point to go do other things. And then there's Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a little different because it's not a linear story. I mean, there is a story, but it's not like it's predetermined. I mean, it kind of is. Like, there's a start and end, but you can do it in almost nearly any order you want, You want to kill one boss before this boss? You can. You want to do this before something else? You can. Elden Ring almost plays out kind of like a sandbox, if you know what I mean, because you can do whatever you want, when you want, how you decide to do it. There's nothing really stopping you except you. Literally, your only limitation from doing anything in Elden Ring is you. You want to kill a hard boss before, progressing the story? Feel free to do so. There's no limitations. But what makes Elden Ring's world so good is the sense of exploration. I want to explore because it's not littered with crap. There's lore, scattered around the lands, little trinkets and little things that we can, find. It's amazing. I love it. I love little hidden details like that. I, you know, have this sense of exploration because it's a new world. I want to find things. I want to try and, you know, craft this story around my tarnished character that I spent an unhealthy amount of time creating. And as I said before, you can follow the story, but you can explore. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and how you decide to do it. And it's not like it's an overworld like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry or I guess any other Ubisoft open world game, because it's not littered with garbage. It's not littered with little, you know, chores to go do. There are quality side quests to be done, especially with God of War and Ghost of Tsushima. One of their greatest strong points is their side quests that build the world around you as well as add to your character development. And again, it's not just filled with nonsense. I feel like doing these side quests because it adds to the character. They grow from these experiences. I don't want to go around and I hate going around Ubisoft maps collecting tiny trinkets for a platinum that I don't care about. The only reason why I do it is because my monkey brain will not allow me to have one missing item from this small collection that I've gathered. I can't have it, alright? I hate it. It's a condition, alright? I can't help it. It's not my fault, alright? It's not my fault. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, okay, well, how does all this apply to multiplayer games? Well, that's the funny thing. It kind of does, but also doesn't at the same time. Because, I mean, it's a multiplayer game. Multiplayer games are all about the community that you build, not with the world that you build. I mean, sure, yeah, Elden Ring does have a multiplayer aspect to it. You can just hop in with friends and kind of do what you want. But Elden Ring is mainly, I kind of forgot the word, but is mainly a single player game filled with little extensive little, you know, snippets of lore and things you can do. But when it comes to multiplayer, it's not really about the world, it's about the mechanics, it's about how it plays with multiple people. That's what matters in multiplayer. When it comes to single player, it's all about the world, the story, how the characters are built, how the world is built. That's what matters. And sure, there are, like, you know, action RPG, you know, games out there where you can just squad up with the boys. But honestly, I really feel like those are just more, you know, of the multiplayer ballpark than, you know, world expansion and character development. Because I'm not trying to focus on, you know, your guys' character. I'm trying to focus on my character, what, you know, what the lore is for that, what the side, you know, this random side quest I decided to pick up. What's that gonna do for my character? And yeah, a lot of games do have this, but the games that really show off, you know, like, oh, okay, he's bugging a little bit. That man was zipping across my screen. Games that show this off, you know, the best when it comes to just building worlds and side quests, have to be Ghost of Tsushima and God of War. They do it very well. They really show their stuff. You know, they really show off. Just like, this is how it is done, Ubisoft. Welcome to the big leagues. This man loves strafing and zipping across my screen. How is he not dead yet? Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Like, I trust Ubisoft to deliver something, you know, great. I mean, I'm always gonna hate on Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft, you know. It's kind of fun to do it at this point. I don't hate them completely. I just think they just kind of suck sometimes, man. I just think that they're not always super great. Can you stop, you know, lagging, please? Thank you. That was one round? Oh my god. This is nightmare. when it comes to making games and when it comes to building worlds, I think Ubisoft should just not try. I think they can do it. I think they can build an excellent story, but they really need to like start paying attention in gaming classes. All right, take a real page out of like Sony's books or FromSoft's books, because GG, those guys do it best. Anyway, that's been another episode of PvP Legacy. Hope you guys did enjoy. I really like open world games. I like linear games. I just like a good story from time to time. And you know what? Let's share these stories together. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite single player is. And who knows, maybe we like the same things. Who knows? Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.